Outer Edge Games.
Alright, I told you I would do a side-by-side comparison when I got my two decks, one from the GameCrafter, one from DriveThruCards. Unfortunately, I did mess up a little bit. Thank God I did the test run first. The DriveThruCards one has the dotted lines around it, as you can see from the layer I forgot to turn off. The actual GameCrafter one has a incorrect card back on one of them. It uses the old name TCG RPG, which is now actually what I use for the name of the system. But I digress. Here are the two packages, how they arrived. So you'll see that they are very similar. The GameCrafter one has a very high gloss to it. I'm assuming you can probably see that well in the picture. It's got a very, very high gloss on it. It is also a traditional tuck box style with folded sides on both ends. It's glued on the one side here. The DriveThruCards one is not. It's a folded box. If you look in here, you can see that it's got a little tab folded in, which is how they make their box. So the bottom is a completely sealed area, and there is no gluing in it. It's just folded together. The feel of them, I actually prefer the feel of the DriveThruCards box. It's a little bit more of a matte finish, whereas this gloss feels almost sticky. Not a huge fan of that. Opening them up. One super nice thing with DriveThruCards, and there you can see that flap in there. See how it? See if you see it on the camera there. Yeah. So it's just folded in. I could technically unfold this, and it would just be like a sheet of paper. The one nice thing about DriveThruCards is the cards are in order. They actually put them in the order that I intended them to be in. They are not in a random jumbled up order like the GameCrafter ones are. Having said that, I did take the GameCrafter ones and put them in order so that we could compare a little bit more apples to apples. I'll pull these ones out. Just comparing the boxes, the DriveThru one, I guess because of the fold, is a little bit snugger fit, a little bit tighter, a little bit more compact. It just feels a bit better in the hand. The GameCrafter one feels a little bubbly. It's not bad. It is what it is. It's a print on demand, so I'm okay with it. Case-wise, I think they're both equal. Either one works. Now, I did for the GameCrafter ones get the UV protection coating on it. They recommend that, so that's what I did. The DriveThruCards ones are their linen finish or something. They call it. It's like a textured one. You can't really. When you shuffle them, when you slide them, you almost feel the texture, but you can't really feel it with your finger. You can't even really see it there in the imagery, but it's got that textured finish to it that you see in playing cards, regular traditional playing cards. Which gives it this kind of interesting glossy look to it. If you look, you'll see that kind of weird gloss on it. See almost the texture there a little bit. Whereas the GameCrafter ones are very smooth. They're just slick. Let's flip by these three, which are just our instruction cards and our Hero Life cards. They're kind of generic. They are a good view, though, of how the coloring works on a solid black. You can see that the color's pretty accurate on the DriveThruCards ones, front to back, same. When you look at the GameCrafter ones, it might not pick up on camera, I don't think it will, but the backs are a slightly different hue of black. They look more like a like an RGB versus a CMYK black. Having said that, yes, DriveThruCards require CMYK, so they are converted on their website. There's a button you click and it converts it for you. You can convert a manual if you want, but for some reason everything was export RGB. I don't know why. I didn't intend for that to happen, but that's what happened, so I live with it. So let's get into the actual cards themselves. Let's compare apples to apples with the exact same card on the top here, Typhar Proudblade. So these are the two cards. If I line them up on top of each other, you'll notice they're slightly different sizes. The DriveThruCards one is slightly smaller. I guess it's not traditional poker size. It's more so the 88 whatever by 60 whatever millimeter one. So it's slightly smaller. The flex on them is pretty... The GameCrafter one is a little bit stiffer of a card. For sure it's a bit stiffer of a card. But yeah, you can see when I push down on them, the GameCrafter one folds a little bit. So the DriveThruCard one is definitely smaller. If you look at the backs again, you can see that this isn't a pure black, whereas the DriveThruCards one is a pure black. Yeah, you can see that. I can see that on the color, so I think you can see that too. Yeah, you could probably see that. The color on them, the DriveThruCards one is a little bit more color accurate. This is more so the, if it would focus better, it's not focusing, but that's okay. The red of the life is a little more color accurate to what I was going for versus the one from DriveThruCards. Now, from the GameCrafter. Pretty sure that is mostly because of this coating on it, and the conversion from RGB and CMYK. Also, you can see in the darks here, the GameCrafter one has a lot deeper blacks, which will kind of muddy up some of the artwork. Here's a good example. If you look at Bardo here, you lose a bit of the detail, if you can see it there, you lose a bit of the detail here in his body that you can pick up on in here, right? Having said that, the coloring on Bardo is way better, I think, on the GameCrafter one than on the DriveThruCards one. Gives you that little bit more of a contrast. I don't know if anyone noticed, just as an aside, but these character cards are intended to be ambiguous, or androgynous. So you don't see a face on Typhar. Bardo has somewhat long hair, no clear distinction, male or female. Gale Quickfinger, same thing. Gale's also a generic name. And Yarago, can't see the face at all. So, not that faces could tell you anything, but I purposefully made the hero cards generic so that whoever's playing, male or female or non-binary, they can feel that they are the hero that they need to be. So going through the cards, if I just flip through them, I know this is kind of a weird test thing, but I do it. The DriveThruCards ones feel like cards. They feel like playing cards. They feel like something you want to play with. I think they suit this style of expandable card game better. Whereas the GameCrafter ones do feel more like TCG cards. They feel like they're meant to be, I don't know, opened in packs, played around with in that respect. They don't feel like they belong in one set together. It seems weird to explain it that way, I know. It doesn't really make sense. But let's look at the shuffling of it. So I'm going to pick, I believe our encounter decks are the biggest ones. So we're going to take our encounter deck from the GameCrafter, and we're going to take our encounter deck from DriveThruCards, and we're going to try a little bit of shuffling. So, the GameCrafter first, we're just going to do a regular shuffle. They slide nicely, no issue there. We're going to do our DriveThruCards ones. Whoops, that's on me. They feel a little bit, almost a little bit sticky to each other, like they don't quite shuffle as nice. Let's see if we can do this kind of a shuffle. Yeah, that one's not too bad. Let's try that on this one here. I must say I'm really not liking the backs of these GameCrafter ones now that I see them by comparison. Like, they just look so washed out and light. I'm not a huge fan. Let's try Riffle Shuffle now. The infamous Riffle Shuffle that everyone hates that I do. I know they're small decks, so it's kind of hard to Riffle Shuffle, so please don't laugh at me as I mess this up. Oh, we also have to make some more room because I clearly cannot Riffle Shuffle in that little of a space. Nice and easy, which is good because these are small decks. They're kind of like, what are those called? Like deck building game size. You know, you got, I think this one here is, encounters are 21 cards, and the dungeon is 16 cards. So that's not bad, actually, the Riffle Shuffle. They've already taken a bit of a bend, though, from that bit of Riffle Shuffling. Let's try the DriveThruCards ones. Oh, those actually Riffle Shuffle a lot nicer. I'm not saying the other ones don't Riffle Shuffle nice, but these are a lot nicer. Yeah, and they slide together flawlessly when you riffle. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, that's really nice. It's kind of odd, like to say that, oh, they shuffle nice when you Riffle Shuffle them, but they do. They shuffle really nice. I'm going to do the same thing, even though it's kind of just repeating myself. I'm going to do the same thing with the dungeon cards. There's fewer of them. There's only 16. Let's see how those shuffle up. There we are. Also compare a bit of the coloring on them too, so we can see, because we have some different colors on the dungeon cards. Let's compare. Well, there's our start card, and there's our end card. Let's find our end card here. It's right there. Here's our end card, and our start card is somewhere right at the end. There we are. There's our start card and our end card. So, starting and ending cards. Oh, this one's got a... I don't know if you can see that. Oh, geez, that's terrible, actually. That coating is just scratching off with my nail. Huh. That's it's hard to see there. Can't get a good shot of it, but yeah, there's a little coating line in there, like it didn't cover it well, and it just, wow, that really marks. I don't know if I'd order these again with the coatings. Does this scratch up? Oh yeah, those scratch super easy. Ooh. How about these ones? Nope. DriveThruCards, flawless. The DriveThruCards are nothing. My nail doesn't mark them at all. Well, there's one that's a big deal for DriveThruCards. My God, that's a huge downside. If those things are scratching up that easy, and these are fresh out of the box, yeah, I would. Wow, right now chalk one up for DriveThruCards. That one's got the lead for me. Oh, there, you can see that's the one I misprinted. TCG RPG Dungeon Deck. They're supposed to all look like this and say Soloventure on them. But that's okay. That's why we do sample test prints first. Yeah, 16 cards is really hard to riffle shuffle. At least for me. Oh, there, I got a little bit better at it. But, yeah, if you do any kind of deck building games, you'll be used to shuffling small decks, of course, so that's not too bad. Let's check these ones out. So I also haven't shuffled these at all up till now. This is the very first time they're being shuffled, so any bending, flexing, or anything like this is the first time they're being separated from each other. So that's why, you know, you can take with a grain of salt some of the stickiness of them. Yeah, Riffle Shuffle's a bit easier. And if we do this kind of a shuffle, yeah, they've got the shuffling much better on this front. Okay, now, the big one, the dice deck. There's 8 dice cards, and this is where you really have to get some good randomization in there. You're not going to riffle shuffle 8 cards, so you're just going to try and mix them up as best you can, kind of be messy with it, right? Let's get this one's dice cards out. I am not enjoying shuffling these ones, not in the slightest. Let's see what we got. We got a 1. Go figure. What do we get on this one? A 3. Well, it ain't great, but it's kind of right in the middle there, so kind of the cards know, right? The heart of the cards, as they say. So that is my comparison of DriveThruCards and TheGameCrafter. Why did I pick these two? Because they both offer print-on-demand services, which is a huge thing right now in the TCG and XCG, CCG, ABCD market, is trying to get these sorts of things. The idea of going to a Kickstarter or GameFound or Indiegogo or whatever other crowdfunding service you want, it's kind of weird now because there is a lot of controversy and stuff going on with it. So to just arbitrarily jump into something like that, I'm not too keen on. So I like the print on demand. It does give people the option to get into it if they want or not. Now, DriveThruCards does not offer any sort of booster pack, randomization, anything like that. It is only meant for a standalone single set of cards or whatnot. GameCrafter obviously does offer the other option. So unfortunately, if I want to go the booster route and some randomization, I would have to go with the GameCrafter to make that available on a smaller scale. Having said that, I am going to make this available on both platforms because I want people to be able to choose where they're ordering from. Maybe DriveThruCards prints closer to you, so your delivery is a little bit cheaper than it is on the GameCrafter, or vice versa. Maybe you have a big issue with the GameCrafter and you don't want to deal with them, so you will not give them money. Totally understand it. I want to give you multiple options. I'm sure there are other print-on-demand services. I've used some of them. Make Playing Cards does it. Do they do print-on-demand, those style? They might. I can't remember. I have to double-check that. But their costs are astronomical. One of these packs, cost-wise, is getting close to the $40 mark for me. $40 USD. I'm in Canada, so it's a little bit different, right? But $40 for this. Not to say I don't think you guys should run out and buy these at any cost, because it's my game and it's wonderful, but That's insane. $40? Like, I wouldn't pay it. Would I pay $20 for this? Hands down, all day long, yes. And that's what they're going to be on the GameCrafter and DriveThruCards. It's $20 each. It's a great impulse buy type thing. If you're buying other stuff, you just throw it in there. It's an easy choice, I think. And that's not just me, shilling for it because it's mine. I really do think it's an easy choice because it's a solitaire tabletop RPG. And if we're into this whole trading card games, or we're into D&D of any sort, or any of these fantasy type games, this like slots right in as something you can do when maybe your gaming group can't get together, or F&M was canceled, or whatever. You didn't get your Kickstarter stuff in time from the TCG you just backed. Whatever your reasoning, you can grab one of these, play out a couple games. Games last anywhere from 5 minutes to like 35, 40 minutes, depends how you randomly draw things out. I played a game once where I reached the end of the dungeon in 3 turns. I played another one where I just scraped by the skin of my teeth, and I think I went through, there's 21 encounters. I think I went through like 12 or 15 of the encounters, and I just scraped through by the skin of my teeth at the very end and made it. And it's great because you do feel that there's a full randomization in it in just 52 cards. But yeah, that's it. That's the comparison of the two. Take your pick, make your choice. Of course, you can order both if you want to compare yourself, but I think that's a little bit crazy. But I did order from both, and it will be available on both so that it's available whatever way you prefer. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments below. Some of these have gotten out to my Patreon backers. Some of these have gotten out to a couple of people I know and trust to give me good reviews of them. Sorry, by good reviews I mean to give me accurate reviews of them, tell me where to improve for the next set, because I've already started working on Forest of the Mad Queen, which is the full expansion to this set. It will be another self-contained deck, just like one of these. So you would line them up on your shelf back to back, which is my goal to start with, then eventually leading into what is a planned randomized booster box for sealed draft. I think it's sealed more than draft. A sealed event where you would get a certain amount of boosters, you create a dungeon, and you give it to your friend to play. So you're each challenging each other by trying to build a dungeon that they cannot beat within certain restrictions, and that's how you would have a sealed event out of it. I think it'd be fun. I don't know. I'm thinking it's a neat way to do it. Eventually, maybe all of it will come together in one big box with everything. But yeah, 2 pre-cons and then a randomized sort of sealed event type thing. But for now, these are going to be available by the end of the month. I have to reorder the samples from DriveThruCards. They will not let me publish it without reordering after I got rid of this dotted line. Sounds minor, totally understand the reasoning for it. But they will be available by the end of the month, and I look forward to hearing from you and what you think of it and how we can improve on it going forward. Thank you very, very much for watching. Let me know if I didn't cover something you wanted me to cover, and I will jump back into this and tear open these cards and look at them again. Talk to you later. Bye.